A routine Jimmy Kimmel Live episode exploded when Donald Trump stormed the stage and attacked Kimmel Live on air. What started as insults quickly turned into a brutal showdown full of shocking documents, whistleblowers, forged signatures, leaked audio, betrayals, and a jaw-dropping DNA challenge that left the nation stunned. This wasn't just drama, it was the night the mask came off for good. It was just another night in 2026 on Jimmy Kimmel Live. The studio audience was buzzing, settled in their seats under the bright lights, as Jimmy kicked things off with his usual routine, cracking jokes about the latest celebrity drama and poking fun at the wild world of politics without going too deep. He was in his element, smiling wide, tossing out one-liners that had the crowd chuckling and clapping. But then, without any warning, the side door swung open, and in walked Donald Trump, still the president, striding in like he owned the place. The music stuttered to a stop, and the audience went from relaxed to on edge in a heartbeat, whispers rippling through the rows as heads turned. Trump didn't waste a second. He marched right up to the desk, ignoring the cheers and boos mixing in the air, and locked eyes with Jimmy. "You're a failed comedian," he barked, his voice booming over the mic, cutting through the room like a knife. "Your whole career is built on cheap shots because real people never laughed at you. It's all fake, just like your ratings." The audience gasped, some shifting uncomfortably, others leaning forward like they couldn't believe what they were hearing. Jimmy froze for a split second, his smile fading, but he didn't flinch or fire back with a joke right away. Instead, he leaned back in his chair, took a breath, and said, "Tonight isn't about jokes, it's about truth." The words hung there, simple and heavy, flipping the script from fun to something real serious, and you could feel the shift. The crowd wasn't laughing anymore. They were hooked, waiting to see where this went. Trump wasn't done. He leaned in closer, pointing a finger right at Jimmy. "You're fabricating scandals just to boost your lousy show. It's all lies, and everyone knows it." His face was red, the kind of anger that makes veins pop, and the studio felt smaller, tenser, like a fight was brewing. Jimmy stayed cool, not raising his voice, but his eyes were sharp. "If that's what you think, stick around. I've got evidence that could change everything you think you know." The audience murmured, curiosity spiking, as Trump smirked like he had this in the bag. But Jimmy wasn't backing down. He hinted at documents and secrets that went way beyond late-night banter, making the whole room buzz with that "what's next" energy. Then things escalated fast. Trump slammed his hand on the desk, glaring hard. "You keep this up, and I'll sue you right here, on your own show, drag you through court for defamation, and watch your career tank for good." The threat hit like a punch, the audience sucking in their breath, some yelling out in shock as security edged closer. Jimmy didn't blink. He met Trump's stare dead on and said, "Go ahead, sue me. But before you do, I'm revealing proof tonight that exposes your family secrets, the kind that can't be buried anymore." Trump's jaw tightened, the fury building as he shot back, "You wouldn't dare." But Jimmy just nodded, calm as ever. "Watch me." The crowd erupted in a mix of cheers. Jimmy didn't let the moment cool off. He reached under his desk, pulled out a thick manila envelope, and held it up like it was evidence in a courtroom. "Folks, this came to me anonymously a few weeks ago," he said, his voice steady but carrying real weight. "It's a birth certificate from Lenox Hill Hospital in New York, dated the day Barron was born, but look at the names." He nodded to the control booth, and the big screen behind them lit up, zooming in slow on the document. Mother, Ivanka Marie Trump. Father, Donald John Trump. The audience let out a collective gasp. Some people actually covered their mouths. Others leaned so far forward they nearly fell out of their seats. Whispers turned into low buzz. Phones were already coming out, people recording on the sly. Jimmy kept going. No drama queen stuff, just facts. "This was mailed by someone who says they used to work at the hospital. They claim it's the real record that got buried." Trump's face went from smug to furious in a flash. He shot up out of his chair, pointing at the screen like it personally insulted him. "That's fake. Total fake nonsense cooked up to hurt my family. It's garbage, Jimmy, and you know it." His voice cracked with anger, echoing through the speakers. Retract this right now, or I swear you'll be hearing from my lawyers tomorrow morning. This is defamation, pure and simple, slander against my kids." The crowd was split, half booing Trump, half cheering like they were at a wrestling match. The energy electric and chaotic. Jimmy didn't flinch. He just held up his hand for quiet. "I'm not retracting anything until we look at the facts, Mr. President. This isn't about me or you. It's about what's on paper." He flipped to the next slide on the screen, pulling out another sheet from the envelope. The person who sent this also included details about what happened that day. They say the birth happened in a private wing, away from the usual maternity floor. Melania wasn't even in the room. Hospital staff were told to keep it quiet, and records were changed later by lawyers who showed up within hours. Jimmy spoke slow, letting each word sink in. They claim the official story we all got fed was rewritten to protect the family image. No press, no leaks, just a quick cover. The audience was dead silent now, hanging on every syllable, the kind of quiet where you can hear your own heartbeat. Trump's breathing was heavy, audible on the mic. He looked ready to explode. Then Jimmy went for the kill. "And here's something else they sent." He clicked again, and up came a scanned hospital admission log. Time stamped the same day. Name listed, I. M. Kensington, a clear pseudonym. But the age, the doctor's notes, even the room number matched what insiders had whispered about Ivanka being there. This log shows an admission under a fake name, but the medical details line up with what we'd expect for Barron's birth. The screen zoomed tight on the entry, highlighting the date and the pseudonym in red. The crowd erupted. Gasps, shouts. A few people standing up like they couldn't sit still anymore. Trump lunged forward, snatched the printed copy of the log right out of Jimmy's hand on the desk. "This is bullshit," he roared, crumpling it in his fist before ripping it clean in half, pieces fluttering to the floor. The audience went wild, screams, cheers, boos crashing together. Security guys started moving in from the sides, hands up, ready to step between them. Trump was breathing hard, face purple, glaring daggers at Jimmy. "You think you can pull this crap on national TV?" Jimmy stayed seated, cool as ice, and held up an identical printout from his lap. "That's okay. I made copies. Plenty more where that came from." He waved the fresh sheet at the camera, then turned back to Trump with a small, steady nod. "You can tear up paper all night, but you can't tear up the truth, and we're just getting started." The studio felt like it was about to catch fire. Trump frozen mid-rage. Then Jimmy straightened up, glanced at the audience with that hold-on-tight look, and said, "We've got more than just papers tonight. Let's bring out someone who was actually there." The big screen flickered, and there she was. A figure on video link, face blurred out like in those crime shows, voice scrambled deep and robotic to keep her safe. "I'm a nurse who worked at Lenox Hill back then," she started, her words steady but tense. "I was on shift the night Barron was born. It wasn't Melania in the delivery room. It was Ivanka, in a sealed-off private wing. Staff were sworn to secrecy, and Melania was kept in another area, like she was just a visitor." The audience sucked in their breath, a wave of "no way" murmurs rolling through. She didn't stop there. Right after the birth, lawyers swarmed in, Trump's people, demanding we alter the charts, swap names, make it look like Melania was the mom. I saw it happen. They threatened jobs if anyone talked. Trump jumped in before she could finish, his chair scraping back loud on the stage. "This is a joke. You're a disgruntled nobody, fired for stealing meds or whatever back in the day. Who put you up to this? Kimmel? Some liberal hack?" He was pointing at the screen, voice booming, trying to bulldoze her story right off the air. The nurse didn't waver, even through the distortion. "I wasn't fired for stealing. That's a lie. I left because I couldn't stomach the cover-up." Trump kept hammering. "Lies, all lies. You're probably getting paid for this crap. Admit it, you're out for revenge." The crowd was split again, some yelling, "Let her speak," others chanting, "Fake news," turning the studio into a pressure cooker. Jimmy stepped in smooth, holding up another folder like it was his ace card. "Hold up, Mr. President. Let's check the facts." He slapped the papers on the desk, screen zooming in on official hospital employment records. "These show she was on staff that exact year. No termination for theft. Nothing shady. Full-time nurse in maternity. right there during Barron's birth window. The audience cheered a bit, momentum swinging as Trump scowled, flipping through his own notes like he was scrambling. That proves nothing. Could be forged, just like the rest. But Jimmy pressed. These are public records, verifiable. She's not making this up. Then the nurse dropped the bomb. Her blurred figure leaned closer to the camera. I didn't come empty-handed. I recorded something that night on my phone, smuggled it out. Jimmy nodded for her to play it, and the audio crackled over the speakers. Muffled voices, clear enough to hear a lawyer saying, "We need to switch the mother line to Melania. Boss's orders, no traces left." Another voice, "If this leaks, heads roll. Get the staff to sign NDAs now." The clip was short, maybe 10 seconds, but it hit like thunder. The audience exploded, feet stomping, shouts echoing off the walls. Trump lost it completely, bolting up and yelling over the noise. "That's edited! Fake audio! Deepfake bullshit! You're in on this, Kimmel. A full conspiracy to take me down." He was waving his arms, face beet red, accusing Jimmy of rigging the whole show. "This is treason-level stuff. You planned this ambush." The nurse fired back through the speaker. "It's real. I risked everything to get it out." Jimmy tried to cut in, but Trump was ranting. "Shut her off. This is a setup. Call the FBI. This is illegal." The shouting match turned chaotic, voices overlapping, audience roaring, security inching closer, like they might have to pull people apart. Jimmy finally raised both hands, voice cutting through firm. "Everyone, calm down. Let's breathe." He looked straight at Trump. "This isn't a conspiracy. It's evidence. If it's fake, prove it." The room quieted just enough, breaths heavy, but the air was still charged, everyone knowing that audio had just cranked the drama to a whole new level. Trump sat back slow, fuming, as the nurse signed off. "I stand by what I saw and heard." The audience still whispering about those lawyer voices when Trump decided to flip the script. He reached into his jacket pocket, pulling out a folded document with a smug grin, like he'd been waiting for this ace up his sleeve. "Enough of this crap. Here's the real birth certificate for Barron, straight from the records, signed by Melania herself." He slapped it on the desk, unfolding it for the cameras, and the screen behind them projected it big and bold. The details looked official. Barron Trump, born at Lenox Hill. Mother Melania, father Donald. Everything the public had always known. Trump leaned back, arms crossed. "This ends it right here. Your fakes don't hold up against the truth." The crowd murmured, some nodding like, "Yeah, that makes sense." Others still skeptical after all the bombshells. Jimmy didn't rush. He picked up the paper, studied it for a beat, then nodded to the tech guys. "All right, let's put this side by side with the one I got." The screen split in two, one side Trump's official cert, the other the anonymous one listing Ivanka. But Jimmy zoomed right in on the signatures. Melania's on Trump's version, and what was supposed to be hers on the hospital log. "Look close, folks. These don't match." He highlighted the loops and strokes. One signature smooth and flowing, the other stiff like it was traced or rushed. The audience let out a low, "Ooh," murmurs turning to outright chatter, people pointing at the screen like detectives in their seats. Trump's grin faded fast. "That's nonsense. Signatures change over time." Jimmy shook his head, keeping it real. "Not this much. They're often pressure, angle, even the way the M curls. And this ties right back to what the nurse said. Lawyers tweaking records after the fact." He glanced at the crowd. If everything was on the up and up, why the discrepancies? Why hide a birth in a private wing and swap names? The doubt was spreading like wildfire. Folks in the front row whispering, "He's got a point," while Trump fidgeted, his confidence cracking just a bit. Then Jimmy went deeper, pulling out a thick report from under the desk. "I didn't stop at eyeballing it. I had a forensic expert check this out." The screen flipped to scans of ink analysis, graphs showing chemical breakdowns. "This says the ink on your official cert is from a modern printer, not the hospital's old system back then. And the paper? Aged artificially, like someone tried to make a fake look vintage." Jimmy broke it down simple. "See these spikes? That's solvent residue from rushing the forgery. Expert says it's a slam dunk, not original." The audience gasped loud, phones flashing as they snapped pics. The room electric with that gotcha vibe. Trump's eyes narrowed and he yanked out his phone, dialing quick. I'm calling my aide right now. He handled this stuff. He'll clear it up. The call connected on speaker, the aide's voice crackling through. Sir, what's going on? Trump barked. Tell them about Barron's cert. It's legit, right? No funny business. The aide hesitated, then said, well, yeah, but we did make minor edits for privacy. Nothing big, just to shield the family from leaks. The studio went dead silent for a second, then exploded. Audience yelling, what? As Trump's face drained of color. He stammered, edits? What the hell? You mean corrections? But the aide kept going, slipping up bad. Like adjusting the signature scan to match older files. Standard procedure. Jimmy jumped in. Standard? That's admitting forgery. Trump hung up fast, slamming the phone down. He's confused, fired on the spot. The fallout from the aide's slip-up on the phone was still fresh. The audience buzzing like a hive about that minor edits bombshell when Jimmy decided to pile on. He leaned into the mic, eyes on the camera. We've heard from the hospital side. Now let's get a view from inside the Trump circle. The screen split again, this time to a live video feed. Another blurred face, voice distorted, but the background looked like a plain home office. I'm a former aide to the Trump family, the voice said, low and urgent. I was there for meetings right after the birth. Overheard the president and his lawyers talking about switching the records. Said it was to protect the family image. Keep things clean for politics and business. The claim hit hard. The crowd gasped, a few people yelling, tell us more, as the aide kept going. They knew Ivanka was the mom, but Melania was the public face. Orders came down to bury it deep. Trump was on his feet in a flash, face twisted in rage. This is planted. Another fake witness. Kimmel, you're scripting this whole damn thing. He jabbed a finger at the screen. Who is this clown? Paid actor. I'm ending this show right now. Cut the feed, or I'll have the network shut down. The audience booed loud, some chanting, let him speak, turning the studio into a shouting match. Jimmy held his ground. Nobody's planted. This is live, Mr. President. Threats won't make the truth go away. The aide paused on the video, then reached up, slowly unblurring their face with a click, revealing a middle-aged guy, glasses, looking nervous but determined. My name's Mark Reynolds. I worked for you for 5 years, sir. Can't hide anymore. The crowd went nuts, cheers, and shocks mixing as he held up his phone. And I've got emails, leaked chain from your team, discussing the birth adjustment plan. The screen shared his display. Subject line, urgent, record correction. With lines like, confirm mother swap to Melania, destroy originals. Details jumped out. Dates matching the birth. Names redacted but obvious. Jimmy narrated quick. Look at that timestamp, right after delivery. This backs the nurse, the docs, everything. Trump lunged for the control panel on the desk, yelling, disconnect this traitor. His hand slammed a button, cutting the live feed mid-sentence, the screen going black. But Jimmy was ready. He hit play on a hidden recorder, and Reynolds' voice boomed out pre-recorded. I confess, I helped with the cover-up, but it was wrong. The president knew. He ordered the switch to avoid scandal. The confession played full, detailing meetings, payoffs to staff, pure dynamite. Trump roared, that's doctored. Shut it off. He charged toward Jimmy's side of the desk, arms flailing like he might grab the equipment, the two men inches apart in a heated standoff. Security rushed in from both sides, big guys in black suits pulling Trump back gentle but firm, while the audience screamed, some standing, others filming the mayhem. Jimmy stayed put, mic in hand. Easy, folks. Let's not turn this into a circus. Trump shook off the guards, stormed off stage into the wings, cursing under his breath, the crowd chanting, truth, truth, like a rally gone wrong. But he wasn't done. After a tense minute, he barreled back out, tie crooked, pointing at Jimmy. This is war. You'll regret this, Kimmel. Revenge is coming, but you're exposed now, all your lies. Yet the emails were still up on screen, damning details scrolling, the pre-recorded confession echoing in everyone's minds. The audience still chanting faintly, Trump suddenly stomped back into the lights. But Jimmy wasn't letting the energy drop. He locked eyes with the president and went straight for the jugular. "If all this is fake like you say, prove it once and for all," Jimmy said, voice cutting clear through the noise. "Take a public DNA test. You, Barron, and Ivanka. Do it live under supervision and end the lies right here." The crowd went silent for a beat, then erupted in cheers, realizing this was the ultimate checkmate. No more dodging, just hard science. Jimmy framed it simple. This isn't about disrespect. It's the only way to shut down the questions and clear your family's name. Trump froze, the challenge hanging like a guillotine. He exploded right back, veins bulging as he refused flat out. "That's outrageous. Disrespectful to my family, my son. No way in hell we're doing some circus test for your ratings grab." Trump stormed forward, closing the gap to Jimmy's desk in angry strides, finger jabbing the air like a weapon. "You cross a line here, Kimmel. This is personal now." Security tensed up again, ready to jump in as the audience booed and hollered, the whole place feeling like it could tip into total mayhem. Jimmy didn't back down. He reached for one last envelope, pulling out a grainy photo and slapping it on the desk. "Before you walk away, look at this," from the same whistleblower network. The screen lit up with the image. Ivanka at the hospital, time-stamped that day, looking exhausted in a gown, with staff around her that matched the nurse's description. This ties it all. The certs, the audio, the emails, the forgeries. She's there, not Melania. The photo zoomed in, details sharp, room number from the log, even a bracelet that screamed Trump family. The crowd gasped, phones out everywhere, as Jimmy connected the dots quick. No more shadows. This proves the switch happened. That's when the real explosion hit. As Trump opened his mouth to deny again, the broadcast glitched, screens flickering to a live hacker feed popping up unannounced. "Ethical source tipped me off," Jimmy said fast, as redacted medical files scrolled, DNA notes showing inconsistencies between Barron and Melania, markers lining up with Ivanka instead. The hacker voiceover boomed anonymous. "Files from secure servers, redacted for privacy, but the mismatches are clear." Nationwide uproar kicked in real time. Social media alerts buzzing on phones in the audience, viewers calling in live, the studio shaking with shouts of "busted." Trump went pale, yelling, "Hack! Illegal hack! Shut this down!" But Jimmy launched into a fiery monologue, voice rising. "This is hypocrisy at its finest. You preach truth but run from it, Mr. President. America deserves better than cover-ups and threats." The audience chanted, "Truth, truth," louder, stomping feet like thunder as Trump spun around, defeated, storming off stage for good this time, door slamming behind him, leaving the show in triumphant chaos. If you followed along this far and found this story dramatic and full of surprises, don't forget to subscribe to the channel now.